G'day guys, Clint Adams here, and I'm sitting with Phil Dawes from the Great Outdoors Landscaping, and we are recording episode number 19 of The Full Landscape. Inspired by Joe Rogan, I decided to go completely unscripted today, and hopefully you enjoy it. Phil and I we podcast into how we got into landscaping, the balance of running his own business with a young family, and hopefully some tips there for new landscapers. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Y'all ready to turn it up tonight? If you really wanna fly, your hands in the air, let the music
with the cars, there's that two schools of thought. Well, we lease all of our cars just to ensure the cash flow is not affected. But I guess if you buy your car cash, if you ever have a lean times, it gives you the ability to sell a car. Like if shit goes down, you're like, that's all right. I know that I've got 10 grand chips, like Monopoly kind of houses that you can just sell. So,
and I'm sort of one that if I've got money in the bank, I won't spend it. These days, I don't spend it on crap.
Yeah.
But back in the day, like if I had money, I'd just be going out.
We need a jet ski.
But so like,
what do you need a jet ski for?
I find saving is actually putting assets, and that's pay vehicles off quickly. And then go, okay, we'll upgrade it, keep on top of that, or you just not have it around, you know, like I've got a bit of a car and then we'll dive into the house.
Yes, if you put it into the house, you're not going to take it back out.
No.
Unless you need to.
No.
And you just don't want to put yourself...
got this sort of time frame, like kids go to school. It's not a real structural plan, but...
But it's that kind of like a loose plan in your head.
Yeah, that's right. So
the, what were we saying about the putting the money in? Oh, there's a book called Profit First by Mike Michalowicz, which talks about like budgeting the amount of profit you want to make and taking that out of the business first, and then whatever's left you have to deal with. So you scrounge and scrimp to try and make sure you've got enough money to pay your bills. And I do it by hiding money in other accounts. So I have money automatically transfer out, and I only look at one account. And I'm like, far out, there's only this much money in the account. We need to start ringing people because I've got to pay this much money at the end of the month. And then really there's money there, and there's money there, and there's money there. And that's that kind of like what you're talking about. You're hiding money from yourself, but you do it in...
Yeah. And I've got an automatic, well not automatic, everything that comes in to the account, 15% goes out straight away.
Because that's GST, IAS, BAS, all that kind of shit?
Yeah. So it's like GST is 10 of it.
Yeah, I know what we do.
5% to cover everything else.
GST is 10, but it's not 10.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it's the 5%, like after 2 years you go, okay, actually there's like 15, 20 grand in there, which is actually ahead of the game. But like when I first started out, I left it for about 3 months. I'm like, all right, I've got to add up what's come in.
And then
15% out. I'm like, shit.
I don't have it.
I'm like, I'm doing this weekly now. Because I'm like, at least then I know where it's all at.
We do it weekly, and the numbers moving up. So, you know, there's thousands of dollars moving a week. But I got caught out very early because we weren't doing it. And when at the time I had a business partner and he was taking care of it. And then when we got hit by the ATO, you're right, mate.
We live now.
Playing some music. Oh, it'll be recording. He can edit it. Yeah. This is the best way. So you don't even know you're in a podcast.
Yeah, that's it. Casual. Like Tom.
You just sorry. Bring that down a bit closer. So you want to make sure you're talking to that.
Yeah, right. But not make love into it. Just...
Mate, if you get real close,
there'll be a warning.
DK
3 strikes.
Do you watch these? Yeah, we'll say that. Yeah. Oh, now I've lost again. What was I talking about? I've gone completely off script today.
You've got a script.
What were we talking about? No, I just tried to fix the microphone so you got good audio. I was thinking about you. Oh, you know how this started? We kind of have. You caused this because you were making noise with your phone.
GST 15%.
Yeah, and then I got hit hard, and then after that I basically just worked out, you know, all of our costs. Obviously income tax, not like as in staff income tax, super, and BAS, and just started putting that figure away. And you find that it's always more, you know, and you don't miss it.
No, it just becomes habit. Create that habit early.
Once it's automatic, it's not even a habit, is it? It's just...
Yeah. Well,
it just happens.
We haven't got it automatic, but I, obviously, at the end of probably realistically, 3 weeks.
You'll just double check.
Everything that's come in, 15%, boom, over to the GST account. And then like when the bass comes out and everything comes out of there, it's just you draw it from there. And
it's
then,
such a nice feeling to go, oh man, I've got to pay X dollars in IAS.
And it's there.
And you're like, oh no, well you've got 2X or 1.5X or 1.3X. You're like,
yeah,
that's good. Rather than like, oh my
shit,
God, how am I going to pay this?
Yeah, and so I don't even really like 30-day accounts.
Yep.
Because obviously when they're due, you're like, oh, we're going right. And then you go, straight away, you know you're going to need like a lot of...
Yep.
So it's sort of... if you don't have 30-day accounts, you know exactly where you are at that point of time.
I get that. And we have 60 and 90-day terms on some suppliers. And that can really get you.
Yeah, so that's... at the start, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Yeah. But then now I'm sort of a bit over it. But at the time, I was like, I don't even know if I want them because, yeah, it's convenient. But then you don't really know... You know, if you're not really tracking how you're going on your business on each job, you don't really forecast that, okay, well, the next couple of weeks might be a bit tight or month might be tight. And so unless you've got a good stranglehold everywhere, and it takes time to do all those charts and data. And I mean, I think I'm pretty well connected to the job, each job, because I'm there. Yep. But sometimes it's a constant learning curve. Like, grab you pretty quick. Especially,
I find with irrigation, people come in and they're like, holy shit, it costs what? Like, because they don't think about, like, each part, you know, you go, okay, that's a sprinkler, that's 10 or 15 bucks, and a controller's 150 to 200 bucks. But once you start joining it all together, it becomes thousands of dollars, and then you're like, oh, wow. And then all your guys are coming in here and buying another part here and another part there, or parts get left in the tray, and then they get taken out. And
yeah, I've got irrigation everywhere at home. I've probably got enough for a good 6 months.
And I would say if you got... canvas 10 landscapers, 9 would be in exactly the same position. They'd say, yeah man, I reckon we're moving so fast we don't stop, whereas loam you don't. You either it gets dispersed or reused. But irrigation, because loam is loam, whereas irrigation is you can only use a tee for what a tee does.
Yeah, that's right.
So I guess we have officially started the podcast now.
Thumbs up.
So I usually I write down a bunch of questions and kind of filter through them. Last night I was actually inspired by, I watched a podcast with Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, and they talked for 2 hours and 45 minutes with no notes. And I was like, I'm going to try that. So
right, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. So for the people listening, can you introduce yourself, your business, and a bit of the 2-minute pitch on what you do?
Yeah. Well, with the Great Outdoors Landscaping, Field Doors, started it 4.5 years ago. Yeah, the pitch. That's a pitch. We're really good.
Buy us now. More around, you know, who you do work for, what kind of work you do, what suburbs you tend to be getting work in.
Yeah, it takes us without any marketing or stuff. It takes us sort of eastern suburbs, probably Kenzie Park, Wattle Park, Paynham.
Because
most of the time.
People are seeing you there and you're getting word of mouth?
Probably because we don't do any marketing.
Yep.
We just have started with Home Draft.
Home Draft?
Home Draft.
Giraffe.
So, yeah, and that was more of a trial while we didn't sort of need it. It's always been word of mouth or this and that. And so, but I've always gone, I wonder if it works, you know, like, and while we've got a long, strong lead time, I thought, well, let's try it while we don't really need it.
Yeah, that's not bad. It sounds so counterintuitive, but it's...
Yeah, but I didn't want to get more people ringing me. I wanted more people to ring me in that area that we work, because now we've moved to Mount Barker.
Yep.
Ultimately, if I get a job, like someone calls me at Henley Beach, it's
a long way.
Yeah, it's a long way. So it's like an hour there. Meet the people for an hour. That's 2 hours. Drive home. That's 3 hours. Yeah. Quote. That's 6.
Yep.
And then just to get a no, and then even if you got the job, you're driving there. So it almost lends itself to saying, okay, you got to charge more to go there, which I don't.
No.
But I might in the future.
But how's that fair?
But then I'm like, well, maybe I'll just try and spend some money and go stay in that area a bit more. And so the people that ring in those areas, I generally ring a higher success rate than heap north, heap west, heap south.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll have to upload the podcast and then do paid ads into the 5 mile radius around Kensington Park. So all those people will get, like, what is it, homeowners aged between a certain age bracket that live in the...
well, I suppose that's what took me to Home Draft, is that you pay for a suburb, I suppose. Well, you get certain suburbs for your costing, and I thought, well...
I've never heard of it. It's the first time I've ever heard of it.
I sort of asked a few people in business, and they said, "Oh, this people do this," and like Yellow Pages is a lot for a suburb.
I didn't even know Yellow Pages still existed.
Well, I don't.
I've had this like silent campaign to crush them. I mean, census aren't going anywhere, but yeah, I'm very anti Yellow Pages. But sorry.
But yeah, that's predominantly where we go. I mean, we still quote Henley Beach, Grange.
Yep. And
I mean, we still
to
do
be clear,
jobs.
you don't charge any more for it.
No.
So people don't want to be thrown by that.
No, I haven't charged any more since I've started.
Yep.
I'm probably on the point now where I'm getting more comfortable in the market and what we provide to look at, because all my wages and staff have gone up, but I haven't in terms of what I charge. But yeah, look, we still do country jobs, although I still love getting away and doing them.
Yep.
Like we've been to Port Lincoln, Minleton, Port Elliot.
Because you're born country.
Born country and western.
Country and western. Tell us a bit about that. Where were you born?
Born in Meningie, about an hour and a half, 2 hours southeast of here. Born on the farm.
Yep.
We're there till I was about 10, and then we moved into the town, like off the land into the town.
Yep. So from a land point of view, the town becomes quite populated, but then comparatively to, say, Adelaide, it's still quite country.
Yeah, there's 900 people roughly in the town.
Yep.
Probably even less now.
Yep.
And obviously Dad went from being on the land to being a rural merchandise, starting a rural merchandise business.
Yep.
So we lived in the town, went to school, Meningie till I was 7, then I went to Murray Bridge till I was year 11, year 10, and then I went to Westminster in Adelaide for the last 2 years.
So that would give you a pretty diverse network of people that that you've socially connected to.
Yeah, I had obviously a lot of friends in Meningie, lots in Murray Bridge. Probably have lost a little touch with the Murray Bridge friends because I stopped playing football down there, and just haven't held a lot of friends, like real close friends. But I suppose as you get older, I've got a smaller network.
But I think that's fine for everyone.
Because you get busy and
the network increases in quality, but decreases in quantity.
In size,
But there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm guessing you're not dissimilar to most landscape business owners between quoting, chasing money, invoicing, installing, looking after your staff, and then trying to find a suitable time to spend with your family. There's not a lot of time left.
Nah, there's no time. So it's a big balance, and the longer you do it, I think the better you get at prioritising.
Yeah.
Although I'm still on the tools, but I think it's that balance. Like people say, you should work on your business, not in it, and I totally get that. Yep. But it's the opposite of where I really want to be.
So why did you start the business?
Well, I worked from school for a traineeship, and then worked for a few various people over, I don't know, I think I've been doing it since 2002 now. And
did you finish year 12?
Yeah.
Yep. So finish year 12 straight out.
Not very well. But
better than not finishing at all. And it obviously hasn't affected you.
Nah,
happy?
I went straight from there to a traineeship with Living Pictures.
Yep.
Did 3 years there with Tony.
Because we spoke about this at the dinner. You wanted to be a landscaper.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I did. I still remember a drive. I think it was around road with the parents, and my parents were just in the car and said, "Oh, what do you want to do when you grow up?" And I'm only guessing it was maybe 13, 14 maybe at the time, and never thought about it. Never been asked before, and still pretty obviously young.
Yep.
And I was sort of staring out the window, going, "Well, who builds the gardens?" And and they go, "Oh, a landscaper," and I'm like, and that's probably where it started, and that's just was my direction from that point forward. So when I left school, I was at school still when I applied for a Maxima job training ad. That was probably driven by my old man. He said, "Oh, you probably need to
get a trade, start thinking about school."
Yeah, like apply for that. And I think it was around maybe October-ish.
Yep.
The ad went in. Dad said, "You want to go and have an interview?" And I did, and Tony waited around till we finished school, obviously to start, and had the interview. And but yeah, largely like jumped straight into a traineeship, and yeah, straight away. I mean, I go to work and love it. Well, I love it some days.
You love the good bits.
Yeah. Well, I love it all. I'm a bit of a, I could talk about it all day, landscaping. But there's no other job I think I'd be good at or have the skill set to do. Yep. So I'm quite content with this is me. Yep. In terms of long term, like I could see myself maybe when I'm off tools and getting older, I could probably see myself maybe getting out of it and going to work for someone just
As
to...
in a project management role for a large company?
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
But then again, I say that, but then if it's all going well and I've created a new role outside of working on the tools and all that jazz,
Yep.
I probably wouldn't, because I can walk out the door and go to work each day and I just do what I love.
So you don't struggle to wake up in the morning?
Nah. Well, some days if I'm quoted late.
Well, you're tired, but you're not dreading going to a job.
Nah. I mean, I love what I do, so it is relatively easy.
And
it still works. So come around Sunday afternoon, you're like, oh, Monday's coming up.
Physical, and it's physical if you're working on the tools.
Yeah, but I find it really rewarding.
Yep. Seeing that end result.
Yeah, and I suppose I'm lucky that I've thought I knew what I wanted to do, and now I'm doing it.
Yep.
I find it was a lot more enjoyable. Now I've started my own business and it's working.
Yeah.
As opposed to working for someone and just sort of going through the motions.
Yeah. And having no control over what jobs you choose to do. And
yeah, I mean it's and now I'm in that point where we started, things are going good.
Yep.
We've got to that probably in the first year we got to pretty much not too far off where we are now.
Yep. So you went like that.
Yeah.
And then you just stayed there.
Probably it's going up, and we're probably getting better at what we do,
more efficient.
and maybe being a little bit more selective with what we say yes and no to. Even though I say yes to everything, like people always tell me I'm a yes man.
Yeah, it's tough.
But as I'm getting older, I'm going, you know what? Every time I say yes to that and it doesn't work for us, maybe financially, I'm like, well, do I really need that?
No.
Like this year, the whole industry's been flat out, so I'm conscious that that's going to stop at some point.
I agree.
And you got to be ready for it.
Yep.
Not sure when that would be. Hope it is years away.
Like 30. It'd be perfect.
But I mean, I'm at the point where it's just a steady cruising along at the moment now, and I'm probably at that point where I need to sit down and really focus on what is the next step. Do I want to grow? Probably not. Do I want to do less hours? Probably.
How many hours do you think you work a week on the business, including thinking about it?
Oh, thinking about it. Jesus.
Take thinking about it away. We'll have that later.
My wife should answer that question. It'd be over 100 if I was thinking about it. I think about it all the time.
If you're awake, you're thinking about it.
Yeah, I don't do anything. Like I used to be pretty social.
I was going to say, what I'll keep jumping over the top, but what activities could you do that would put you in a position where you can't think about it? Like footy?
Yeah. I mean, I stopped footy because I was hopeless at it anyway.
Really?
But, well, I was a little bit... You sound surprised.
Well,
I wasn't great at it, you know.
I'm very sure Carmo said you played pretty good football. So I don't know if that was Carmo being kind.
Carmo's a kind man.
Yeah.
But I was more of a B grader that was less serious, that loved to be after the game as opposed to being so well drilled in the A grade.
I think if I'd played football, I wouldn't even play. I'd be the one that
at the bar.
Whatever I could do to be considered on the team. So I don't know, like running stuff out to the people so that I could drink after the game.
Yeah.
So
that was really good. I suppose I missed that. I mean, one of the reasons I stopped is because I was hammies back, yada yada yada. But predominantly when I stopped, I think I was 25, maybe.
Yeah.
It was purely a mission to start my own business.
Yeah.
And that's why I went.
And you put everything into that time-wise.
Yeah. I mean, when I worked for Dave, Stewie,
Yep.
all those guys.
Yep.
It's probably more Dave towards the end there, where I was working every weekend, Saturday, Sunday.
Because he had so much work to do.
Yeah, so Monday to Friday I was working for Dave, and Saturday, Sunday I was working for people that can network, which was mainly through family. And
like aunties and uncles and their friends. And
and it sort of grew from there that every weekend I was busy, and I was literally working every weekend. There was no kids, you know. I'd go and work a weekend and to run my own jobs. It was all about starting it, you know, and then it got to that point where we were on a honeymoon. I'm like, well, let's just try this. What's the worst case scenario? Like, I could do this for a year, doesn't go well, and then I have to walk back in and, well, not walk back in, but then apply for another job, for another landscape. And I thought, well, that's the worst case scenario. Let's do it. And then, you know, you look back now going, I should have done it 4 years earlier.
And you can't play that game.
No, and I wouldn't have been any earlier. I might have been ready, but it wouldn't have been as ready as I was. And as I say, we left that first year that we left and started our own business. It was a good year in terms of, you know, what I was getting paid as an employee versus what I made as a business. It was a really enjoyable year. And probably my first couple of years was more enjoyable than now, because I go from one job, I organise the job, I talk to one client, I just get the guys there.
Yep.
They help me. Two guys to help me.
Yep.
Well, at the start it was one.
Yep. So it's you and another guy. So you said when we started the business. So your wife.
Yeah.
And you are both involved in the operation of the business.
Yeah, I mean, Kelly does BAS, data entry, pays the guys, and obviously stay-at-home mum largely.
So she's got 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah, or 8 if you ask her.
Yeah. Remember, she will watch this.
Yeah, she probably will. She probably will.
I set you up. I set you up for a real smooth glide then, and you just wasted it.
She does a lot, probably everything around the house.
Yep.
I leave home at 6:30. I'm back at probably 5.
Yeah.
Most nights. I see the kids till 7:30. They go.
So
to
they
bed,
both go to bed at 7:30,
and then I quote till 11:30,
and then sleep and start.
Most nights, and then weekend I'm just trying to break away from really doing the hours on the weekend to go, hey, it can wait till Monday.
Yep. It'll always be there.
But I'm a bit of tragic for workaholics, but I'm getting better at just going, you know what, it might mean that it's a quote, it takes me 3 weeks to get a quote back rather than 2, but I'm like, at this point now where I'm up and it's running and it's all good, I'm like, you know what why? You know,
well, they're going to get their quote back in 3 weeks, but they're not going to be able to have the job for 6 months anyway.
Yeah, that's right. So, but I suppose that annoys me. That I used to be at the start, I'm like, get a job, quote it 1 week, boom, there it is, and you'd be pretty proactive. But now that I'm got 6 guys, 2 crews, I'm still on the tools. Probably, I mean, the boys would back me up on this, but I reckon I'm on the tools 4 out of the 5 days a week. So whether it's
So you might go do 3 to 5 hours on site, or are you talking like you'll go to site in the morning, set up and work with them for that?
Yeah, I'll probably.
And then you drive off and do a quote at 2 or something.
It ebb and flows. I mean, sometimes I'm on the tools Monday to Friday, 7:30 till 4, 3 weeks in a row, and then 1 week I just disappear because I've let it drag on that long that I've just got to get away, and it's backing up on me, and I've just got to go, hey, I've got to get in the office, I've got to do this. But it's probably working out now that I'm more of a 7:30 to lunch, and then I'm off consult, and so that I'm doing that rather than doing consult 5 o'clock on the way home when I'm knackered. And you got to see your kids, man. Yeah, like, they're both so young. Yeah, and that's going to go. Yeah, so I think I'm getting better at that. Both? You got 2, yeah? 2 and 4. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think I'm getting better at that. But it's only sort of now that it really starts to hit home. I don't want to miss the moment with the kids, but. Well, you mentioned before that you made the decision to start the business while you're on your honeymoon, and that kind of spiked interest in my brain. I think that a lot of the time as business owners we just wake up and do it again, and we don't ever take time out to think about it, and a honeymoon gives you uninterrupted time where you relax to think about things. And I didn't have anything to do. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Well, there's only so many drinks and lying on the beaches that you can do, and I could do that for a month, but you do start. I get it. My brain's the same. I'm like, well, maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that. You probably need some of that time again, like a day or 2 away to think about how you want to plan your time with the kids. I struggle with it. We pretty much allocate Sundays completely for family. Yeah. And then if I have to do stuff, we kind of, I've got it to a good balance now. I wouldn't work as much as you do. Yeah. I definitely don't quote till 11:30 at night. Yeah, well, I had this thing where I was like, I can't be keep doing this. It's not sustainable. But what did I have? I had a plan that I was going to have a 1 day. I was going to get two crews, so I went from 1 to 2, and I've got a team leader here, a team leader here. Yep. That should give me enough time to do consults, quotes during the week. Yep. So I'm not doing that 11:30, but. The reality is, the more guys you got, the more conscious you are. You want to keep them efficient, moving. Yeah. The more spot fires or problems you might want to be on top of, and I'm pretty controlling in that regard. So I'm almost. But your clients will want that as well. Yeah. They want. They want to know that you're on their job site once a week, once a day, once a whatever. Yeah. And that you're seeing things. Yeah. So I suppose the 2 crews was like, this should give me more time to do less hours after the kids' bedtime. Yep. So I could actually go and sit on the couch and watch. I'm assuming there's some time that Kelly probably wants there as well. Yeah, if you're honest, no doubt. Yeah, yeah, probably. But she likes you. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I don't know. I joke around. I don't think my wife likes me. I think it's just a commercial relationship. She'd probably like me better before the business. I'll probably be honest, but I think she's really good at understanding that without the business we couldn't. You're in a different position. Yeah, we're a different lifestyle, and it's an itch you had to scratch. Yeah. But I need to get better at probably supporting her role and just shutting off Saturday, Sunday. We never have Saturday, Sunday is probably a little bit restricted around my workload.
Yep.
And it has been in the past where I probably need to, and she knows this.
It could just be Sunday though.
Yeah, well, it could be. And where we've got nothing planned on Sundays. She knows that I'm not working, so perhaps she plans more, I plan more. Yeah. And we're back to being more social,
we have
more normal, I suppose, pre-business.
A shared diary. So Celeste and I have a Google Calendar that we share. So we both see each other's calendar, and she'll just put a block in there. Actually, like today, I've got I have to cancel things because I know this afternoon I've got to be home at 3 because she's got a work thing, and I just realised I've got to send out some messages. And so they're just in the calendar, so I can quickly look at the calendar and go, okay, cool. I can't do anything because it's there. Because otherwise you have to sit down every night and try and talk about it, and then you're having dinner or you're having dinner late because you got home late, and the kids are, you're trying to get some time with them before bed, and then you forget to talk about it, and then the next day you're like, oh yeah, Sunday, what are we doing? Oh no, I can't, I'm working.
Yeah.
And it's...
So I think that's what my plan this year was to bring that in where weekends were, but to finish on that where I was 2 crews and it's going to give me more time. But what I found now that if I get a time during the day where I'm in the office, it's at home office. Yeah. And it's kids at home.
Yep.
Like
I get it, man.
You might do 5 hours out of a 9-hour day. Yeah. But if I do it 7:30, 11:30 at night, as long as I'm not too knackered, and I'll have one of these and perk up, it's hard though. Really productive. Yeah. No one's like.
So you're a good night worker.
I think so. Yeah.
Brain time. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
I can. I mean, I get over it.
Yeah.
I do have 2 things of the week that footy show.
Yeah. So you can sit there and watch that.
Footy show starts at 8:30. Yep. I mean, a couple of times I have worked through it and that's annoyed me. But I'm like, footy show, even though as tragic as it is lately, that's my thing where I sit on the couch and I'm not
not so much about the quality of the TV. It's about the time that you're getting doing nothing. Like
that and Russell Coit, who's just come back.
No shit.
He's just finished. But
I have not watched him.
And I've got
I don't think since he's been back, and I didn't really watch him but I don't watch really any TV.
Yeah. So it was Russell Coit, which I've got my Ava, the 4-year-old.
Yeah.
She loves Russell.
She loves it.
So it's kind of like she gets to stay up half an hour later because it's 7:30 to 8.
So she's got you guys together and she's stitched up.
Yeah, she's talking about Russell and so it's good. But I find it's really productive. Yep. So now my mentality is like, okay, Monday to Friday, it's going to be like full on.
You just get it all
quite late, and then the idea is that moving forward, Saturday, Sunday, there's very little.
Are you kids playing any sport or doing swimming or anything at the moment?
No, not yet.
Wait till that starts.
Yeah, Ava used to swim. We used to take her to swim, and then Angus come along, and we never got him into that. Yep. We used to have a pool at Clearview. Yep. And now we go to Mount Barker. We don't have one. Yep. So that was good to have one at home because Ava loved swimming. Yeah,
you don't need to pay. I think we pay something like $22 per head per lesson. We got 3 in the pool at the moment, so it's getting ridiculous. I could probably pay a professional swimming instructor to teach my kids outside of that.
Outside, cheaper.
Yeah, you just you live in Australia, you kind of have to know, don't you? But so after this, you're going to ring Kelly and talk about having the weekends just for her now. Yeah,
well, she's probably going to see it and just remind me I said this. And
it's going to be live around the world.
I think what shits her off is I come home and unless I've ticked my list off for that day, unless I've promised to call someone today, close. I'll be just on that phone, just closing that down, and I probably can't deal. I can deal with the kids, but
that's a pretty quality attribute for you to have as a person, though.
Yeah,
you just need to stop committing to doing it. That's the difference. Because so if you say you're going to do it, you'll do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. I mean, if I say to someone, I'm going to call you today,
you will,
and I'll do it. But what I probably need to do is do it before I walk through the door at home, because then it's like, as I walk through that door, sometimes I'll run straight to the office and I'll ring that guy, and
you're shandying the time with them. You're not actually giving them that. And I'm guilty of it. I'm bad.
And if I know that I'm waiting for something, which is last minute organising, I've got to get meshed to site, and it's impacted because our day's changed, and if I don't have it on site early tomorrow, we won't be efficient.
Day's dead, yeah.
I'll be sort of always hovering around my phone for my emails, and I mean, I think I could probably get better at that.
Yep.
But I mean, if I didn't do that, we wouldn't be as efficient, or I need to be even better at planning. But sometimes things pop up where you go, okay, it's raining tomorrow, either everyone's sitting at home, or we do this.
We have to do something more.
We start that.
Clean out the irrigation tubs and
there's a lot of that.
Don't do that. Just throw them out. Buy more.
I knew you'd say that.
Do you have, I guess, people within the industry that you look to for advice or support or a mentor or anything like that, or are you kind of just going it alone based on your experience?
I mean, the master landscaper with Frank. I'd probably bring him.
Frank Ross.
Yeah, probably ring him once a month for technical stuff.
Yep.
Saying, this tile's above the damp course, and just for, I suppose, clarity around what I think's right.
Yep.
So if there's any a technical question, I'll just ring him now, which he's been great with. Yep. Just saying, hey, are we allowed to do this? And if
he's given you kind of permission, emotional permission for you not to feel guilty about ringing him all the time.
Probably. I mean, there's an element of that's what the master landscapers provide is technical advice.
Yep.
And I suppose I've just got his personal number now. But, I don't ring him that much.
Well, tag it in below the video.
Yeah, I don't ring him that much, but I suppose it's...
But he knows you're not ringing him with stupid questions. It's not like you're
the
wasting
main
time.
reason I joined the Master Landscapers was, one, enter Garden into Awards, and two, be able to call someone when I don't know the answer.
Yep.
That was it.
And
really.
that might not necessarily just be the president or the technical people, like just having access to another 40 landscapers.
Because ultimately, if I'm not sure about something, I want to make sure 100% what the answer is or what I'm allowed to do to make sure I safeguard my business before I do it. If I just jump in and just think, I think you're allowed to do that, and I'll find out what the answer is before I do it. So then there's nothing, you don't have to redo your work, you're not liable.
Which kind of starts to connect the dots around your personality. Like, you only want to do it properly. If you say you're going to do something, you'll do it. You can't go to sleep without doing it. Like, they're good traits. Did you... So you've just been voted in your second term on the board for the MLSA?
Yep.
How soon after becoming a member did you go for a board position? Was that pretty early?
Yeah, it was probably... I mean, by memory, I reckon I became a member... probably purely to enter an award one year in 2016, 15, something like that. And I think actually Frank called me back then to sort of see if I would be interested.
Because they weren't getting the quantity of nominations they required to fill a board, really, were they? It was very...
That's how I took it, and so when he rang, I was just, something else to do. Do I really want that?
Let's do it without Kelly finding out.
But then I thought, well, maybe it gets me to network with people that I can get something from. Not that that's what it was all about.
No.
I thought, well, it could be good for me. And I've enjoyed it.
Well, you nominated again, so obviously...
I mean, I did.
You've made it work.
I did. I've enjoyed the journey, and obviously it's growing, and it's come from virtually nothing, I reckon, to something pretty cool. Pretty positive, and still the beginning in my mind. But I have enjoyed it. I mean, it's something to do, and obviously it's volunteering. But
giving back to an industry that you care about.
And I've met a lot more people through it, and people probably know a little bit, know more about me. And but so far I'll do it until
until you get voted out.
I thought I might be voted out this year. But
I think it's good that it's that the association's board is heavily weighted with members that are landscapers. I think that the way the voting occurs and the way that the AGMs are handled is going to need to change in the short term to ensure that all members vote, because it feels like it was quite light.
It's that rule, well, not that, it's that, how do you get tradies to talk and actually say what they want, why didn't everyone vote, could
has anyone asked anyone?
Well, that's happening, but it's pretty common across all states, I reckon.
But then you've got say the SACA, right? So I'm a member of SACA. I don't vote because I don't care. So there's an answer that might be, I just don't care. But they have online voting, so I don't have to go anywhere to do it. And so that might be something that could, or postal votes with return prepaid envelopes or whatever. Anyway, I think
we've talked all about that since the AGM. So we're right across that. I mean, I was a little bit disappointed in the numbers at the AGM, considering how much the MLSA has done in the last year. In terms of growth, I thought that growth might be replicated in the numbers turning up. So obviously, ultimately we want to know why. And Yeah, I mean,
and that's simply just getting on the phone and asking.
Yeah, I mean, of the 160 or 70 members we have, why did we only have 53 vote? Like, why can't we get 100? But that's
you're never going to get 163.
Nah,
but 100 would be nice.
It would be. But yeah, I think it's that. I still think that, you know, out of all the tradies that voted, they're the ones that probably did care.
Yeah. And
then there's a tradie who's just a tradie who's like,
or they're only members because they want to be in the awards. I mean,
yeah. There's all sorts of that.
There was always that question, like, what's in it for me?
Yeah, and it's easy to. I think it's really easy as a tradie to not give any feedback and then.
But then complain when it doesn't go your own.
Yeah, and I think now that I'm in the board, I'm probably seeing a little bit more of that as well, and going, well, if you really want us to do something, let us know.
You need to know.
Yeah, like.
What is the forum for that? Like, if someone's got a concern, they can email Inika or Frank
definitely.
or even you, a board member. Yep.
I think we're all very approachable.
Yep.
And when you ask for feedback, you don't always get it.
No.
That's the number one thing.
Well, I think it's like anything. No one ever does a positive review.
Yeah.
Like, it's always a negative review. So no one ever says how good you're doing.
In hindsight.
But when they're angry, they'll be like, oh, this is crap. Well, where were you when we needed to know what you wanted?
So I think we could probably maybe work on maybe really selling it at an AGM, saying, what would you like us to do? Like,
how should this look? When should it be?
I don't know whether we can do a flyer at the AGM. I think I voiced that and it wasn't able, but whether we can get. I mean, if there's one time everyone's in the room, actually it was the awards night. I said, well, while everyone's at the awards night, why don't we get that feedback right then? Because everyone's there. Yep. You know, like.
No one's going to talk publicly though.
Yeah,
you might have a suggestion box. And everyone's lick it up, so they'll write suggestions.
Yeah. So and then they said, "Oh, you don't want to take the shine off the night and deal with that." And I got that.
Yep.
But I mean, there's no better way.
Yeah.
You know, like you might get, I don't know, 50 people to a barbecue.
Yep. Or 20, we do. We have 50 to 60 people come to our barbecue every month.
25 people to a Maypie training do.
Yep.
Or, but we've got 170 members. So like, how do you get at least 100 of feedback and actual feedback that actually matters, not just a quick answer because they got. Yeah. Anyway, that's.
It's definitely worth exploring.
Yeah.
Not for you and I to try and sit here and solve.
No, well, that's right, and that's what we're always working on.
Yep.
It's hard to get some people to talk, and like I say, it's easy to talk when you're angry. But I think probably a lot of the members probably don't see how much work actually is being done.
Yeah.
And has been done, and maybe we need to
document that more.
Broadcast that a little bit more. So at the AGM, say, well, 2019's goals were this. And then you stand up there in 2020, you go, well, we achieved 3 of these 4, and the 4th one we're very close.
Yep.
So you actually people can sort of judge us on what we said we were going to deliver and what you asked for, and then you've actually got to say, well, you know, probably in the past we've had like some people telling us sort of what you want, and then not really going about it. But if you actually have a clear message of what our members want, and then at an AGM you can stand up and say, well, we've delivered that.
Yeah.
What do you want next year?
Yeah.
But just get them to talk.
I was just thinking while you're talking that it'd be interesting if there was a private Facebook group. I can't think of another platform that would be more appropriate that more people are on for members of the Master Landscapers Association. So you could have a private Facebook group and say you've got pavers left over at Clearview that you don't need. You just post on there, hey guys, I've got some 400 by 400, whatever's there free, come and grab them. Or hey, has anyone had any trouble with this glue not sticking to this board? Or what are we doing about this? And you've got this community that's even stronger because that's what we're trying to achieve.
Well, a bit like your Waterpro one, I suppose.
And look, we use that weekly. Sorry, when I say weekly, I mean like not strongly. It's not often used because I don't want to spam the shit out of people with sales stuff. I really want it to be there for people to be able to communicate with each other, and it doesn't get overused. But yeah, something like that where you go, okay, this is important. Or AGM, who's is anyone that can't come? Is there anything you want to talk about? And people can quickly post it in a safe environment. So anyway, if anyone wants to, they can email you with concerns, call you, Inika. Message you, or Inika, or Frank, or Tony, or I can't remember who else was on the board. But anyway, all good. So moving forward, are you going to try and keep the company at the size that it's at and just get better and better and better?
Yeah, I think so. Yep. I think so. I think I need to. I've been saying it for probably 6 months now, but I really need to give myself some time to work out, like whether I talk to business analyst,
Yep.
which I'd like to. Maybe a business coach.
Yep.
Pay some money
Yep.
to get that intel out of the company that I'm too attached.
Well, there's two ways you're going to do it. You'll take a long time to work it out, or you'll pay someone for shortcuts that they've learned.
Yeah, and I'm too busy and
And you make your
I'm not
money
smart enough
landscaping.
to read my own data probably.
Yeah.
You know, I'm good at building a garden,
Yep.
digging a hole and filling it back up. You know, like so I think now where I'm going, we've gone up. We're slowly increasing. We're hovering around 4 to 6 guys.
Yep.
We're currently at 6.
With one less truck than you were meant to have at the moment.
Yeah, one truck got written off.
I shouldn't laugh. That's not funny.
We've got a new truck though, so that's all right. Onwards and upwards.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know the answer right now. I don't think I want to be 8 or 10 people because I think it will take me more away from the tools. And
Well, that's what I started thinking. Like, would you be able to quote more and work on site less with 8 or 10, or does that have its own pitfalls that you know?
Yeah. I mean, I mean, this year especially. I mean, I probably could have kept 8 to 10 guys busy,
Yep.
but my role becomes see them, project manage, order for them, and no on tool stuff. And I suppose it's a little bit back to the footy. I probably stopped too early and now regret it.
Yeah.
I'd love to play one more year if I was
So
a hell of a lot fitter.
you're enjoying being part of the team.
Yep. And I think I still think I'm good at building.
Yep.
And still able. I think there's plenty of time where I won't be physically able to
So do it while
build
you
a
can.
garden.
Yeah.
So and it's kind of polar opposite to work. If you asked me that question 2 years ago,
Yeah.
it would have been like create a role for myself when
Yeah.
I'm not on the tools, because when I get to 40 and I can't use a shovel, I need to have a role that
Which you can do at
fits.
40.
Yeah, so yeah, that's right. So now I'm kind of like, you know what? I really enjoy building a garden. I really enjoy meeting a client, quoting the job, and then being the one on the ground with the group.
Yep.
Obviously, I'm less available. The bigger we get, I'm less
Yep.
available on tools.
Yep.
But where I can, I'm doing everything. You know, digging, trenching.
Yeah. I think you'll get more out of your team. It's
It's
hard.
easy to get respect if you're there doing it,
Yeah.
pumping as
And
hard as they are.
it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
But the reality is
Yeah.
that it is.
So I don't think we'll grow anymore, because I mean I wouldn't grow until I've done the analysing.
Yeah,
the
till you
data,
get it
'cause
right and
there
know
would be
why
an
you're
optimum
growing.
number
Yeah.
that would produce less effort for
Like
the
that
same
bell
money.
curve of
Yeah.
going, well, we can make this much money
Yeah.
and the perfect mix of staff,
Yeah.
fuels hours, time with the kids, and this much money that we want.
Yeah.
And you just need to find that.
Yeah,
happy
and I
place.
suppose because of the last 2 or 3 years, we're increasing
Yeah.
in terms of like profit.
Yep.
But it's only like subtly.
Yeah.
And as the bigger I get, the more manic my day becomes.
Yeah.
But I probably make it.
Which
like
is
that.
also then, is that profit directly related to the number of hours you're doing? So you're still
Yeah.
earning the same amount per hour because you're working 100 hours or
Yeah.
80 hours or whatever.
So it's probably not good in that regard, but that's what I want to pay someone to tell me
Yeah.
and analyse from afar, or
Yep.
from less attached.
I've got another client that's just recently done that, so I'll put you in touch with them.
Oh yeah.
And you can talk to them and see
Yeah,
if they
good.
thought it was beneficial.
Yeah.
As I'm listening to an audiobook at the moment called Small Giants, which is a book with a bunch of examples of businesses that chose to be great instead of grow.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like you're in that kind of headspace where I guess there's social pressure to grow because everyone's like, why don't you get bigger? But why? Who says you have to? Why can't you just be great outdoors? You can use that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with
I think you're spot on. I mean, I could grow, but I think I just become the way that I
You'll be
run
crazy.
my I'm just there all the time. I mean,
And if you
probably need to
micromanage
give
a little
more-
bit-
yeah, I probably need to step away a little bit in terms of allowing the guys to develop quicker by not being there.
Yep.
I suppose I go there quite often. Well, I'm there all the time, but
Yep.
I've got 2 crews, so I'm sort of like, but I'm there probably too much, giving them too much info.
They're just like, go away, we don't need you here.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I mean, I'm pretty close to most of my
They
guys.
like having you there.
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I've got some good mates that work for us. So, and all the guys. I mean, they wouldn't be with me if I probably didn't get along with them.
Have you got... So there's 2 questions. Do you have issues... Are there negatives with having good mates working for you? And do you have staff turnover at all? Or have you found that it's... you kind of once they're
Mates
in,
that
they're
work for you. No, I think no. I mean, I've got good mates that work for us. That presents some issues in terms of if they're not performing, you've got to let them know why. But I I think I'm pretty honest but fair.
Yep.
Like pretty hard but fair in terms of, and I think if you talk it often enough, to them and show them the way, rather than just sort of get down on them. I haven't found any problems yet. I mean, there's all in terms of staff turnover, and I mean, there's people at work that aren't as close as others, and you've got to constantly be on top of that. And we mix the teams up, and we've got some pretty people who've been doing it a long time.
Very experienced.
So I've got a way of doing something someone else has, and we can talk about it for an hour. But occasionally I'll be like, in 10 minutes going, we're doing it this way.
Because
let's
that's
go.
what I'm doing.
Because we could spend an hour talking about
it's hard, isn't it? But
and in 2 hours it could be finished.
It's your business on the line.
Yeah. But it's managing all that, and I think I manage that pretty well.
Yep.
I can sort of see when perhaps two people are like, they need a break. It's like, well, next job,
Split
you're over there and you're over there. But most of the guys get on.
How do you find them? Do you do Seek ads, or do you just word of mouth it? Are you still at that side?
Seek / knowing people in the industry, friends.
Hey mate, you know anyone that wants some work?
Yeah. But I've done Seek recently for 2 positions. I didn't end up using Seek because one guy came on board that was in the industry, and we talked, and he came from commercial back to residential, with an understanding that he wants to get eventually out of landscaping. Manual labour anyway, so we have an understanding that he's going to still leave us. But
I think that's great.
We've provided flexibility to sort of
like, I've got staff that are here now that I know that will leave between 6 months and 2 years for some of them.
But you can plan around that.
That's right, and I'd rather them come up and go, hey, this isn't exactly what I want to do in life. You've got me for 12 months. Let's plan around that.
Yeah, so I've got 2 guys like that. One's going to go back to the farm, and we sort of give him a 2-year sort of term, and we're sort of a year into that, or roughly. And it might go 6 months more, and it might go 18 months more, but at least I know
you're
it's coming, so that I'm kind of like, now when he's a year away from leaving, I'm kind of thinking like, okay, how's this going to look like? What time we're going to bring that in? The other guy sort of wants to move out of being on the tools and maybe more into design, and just less stress on his body, which I get. Like I'm already thinking about that, and he's 10 years older than me. Instead of turnover, I mean, I've only had 2 guys leave. One was to start his own business, which he's doing all right at, I think. And the other guy left to pursue music, and that was it in 5 years.
That's crazy. That's good numbers.
Yeah, so it's been good. I mean, it's easy to deal with people that coming in and out.
If you ask landscapers, it's probably one of the hardest things that they find is finding staff and keeping them. And I guess success leaves clues. And if you haven't had staff turnover, then you're doing something different to other people. Now, is that working on site, or is that communicating better, or is that just being Phil and no one else can be Phil, or whatever it is? But
I don't know. I think you've got to have a laugh at work. I mean, at times I'm pretty hard on them, saying that this has got to be right. If it's not, they'll know about it, like in a constructive way. But at the same time, we have barbecues, we have a laugh,
harsh
we have a joke. Harsh but fair. I suppose one of the guys called me that once. But
I had a manager that managed me that was like that, and I'm like, mate, you have not deviated from the rules ever. So cool. I know what the rules are.
And that, but it seems to be working. I mean, I'd like to know if any of the guys were unhappy, and generally you can sort of sense it anyway. Or
no, I get that.
If someone's worked for you for 3 years and they're owed more money, pay them more money. Because they're, if they're getting better, pay them more. Typically, if everyone's happy, why would they go? I mean, start their own business.
And it just removes so much stress from you as well. Like, you got that much shit going on every day. Do you really need an unhappy apple in the apple cart or whatever?
So one problem I've had, one problem with my last, or one thing I thought about with my last Seek ad, which has happened just recently, where I applied for a landscape labourer / junior. Purely around all the guys that hang around for 4.5 years now, or 3 or 4 years now. They're all getting paid more. They're all worked their way up. We're pretty top heavy. We need probably some young guys cruising around, just grab this, grab that. That don't need to be experienced in landscaping, but also good people.
That's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, good people that just want to do the job, but not opposed to obviously being you started a labourer, no one's going to be a labourer all their life generally.
No.
So if you start a labourer, one, it costs you a little bit less to supplement the guys that have been hanging around for 3 or 4 years and now are getting paid a lot more than what you started with.
Yep.
But then I did the ad and had about, I think it was 300 people apply.
Yeah.
You know, lots of Macca's, Coles.
Kids.
Kids. And then there was experienced guys as well. And I was just like, I started looking at all these resumes with no landscaping experience, car detailing, all this sort of stuff going, how do you know if that someone's a really good labourer with no experience versus this guy here's got 2 years experience and he's done a certificate 2 in horticulture. So he's sort of like, he's still new, he's not that old.
Yeah.
And then I kept balancing between, okay, this guy's got a little bit of experience, going to cost a bit more, he's a bit older. This guy's younger, he's no experienced. It's going to take some of the time from my guys to actually teach them.
Yep.
And so I still haven't, we have gone and employed someone else that's at uni, and so he's 3 days a week.
Yep.
But he's a bit older, so comes with that is that he's not going to work for nothing.
No.
So we haven't really fitted that brief of a real low cost injection, not that to just pay someone nothing, but we need that balance in the chain.
I understand what you're saying.
So maybe we need to look into apprenticeship and traineeship to achieve that, because I was one once.
Yep. And there are good people out there trying to find apprenticeships and traineeships in this market.
Yeah, and I had 1 or 2 people say that they would be keen for it, even though that's not what I applied for. But I need to explore that and just get my head around what I have to do by them.
Which is where I guess people like the association comes in.
Yeah.
It's quite funny that there's plenty of people out there complaining that there's not enough staff in the market, but none of them would be willing to take apprentices on. So, you know.
Yeah, well, I would be. I'm just that.
You just don't know how. So if someone walked in and said, here you go, here's your apprentice, this is the cost, these are the rules, have a nice day, you'd take it.
Well, you can do that somewhat with the group training organisation like Maxima, but you pay a little bit more. But I'm probably that person that will research the shit out of it.
Yep.
And it's obviously a little bit cheaper. And then you just do the right thing.
But you know the rules then.
Yeah, and so I know how it works. I mean, that's me in a nutshell. Yeah. Like, if I don't know everything about what I'm about to do, I'll either give it to someone else or learn it and then do it slowly, learn from it, and then get quicker at it, or realise that wasn't working for us. We could have subbed that out, made a margin on it, and he was good at that. We weren't.
Aces in their places.
Yeah.
I saw on your Facebook, well, actually I saw a photo shared by Caroline Dawes the other day, so you do work for designers?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that, what percentage of your work would be coming from designers, if you're happy to answer that?
Yeah. I haven't never tracked it, so should probably.
50-50?
I did start to do that in the first year or two, because I thought this is going to be really information I need to know. But I would say 35% would be designers. It sort of ebbs and flows a bit. Like the first year, we had a designer threw us 3 jobs for only 2 people.
Yeah.
That was probably 70% of our work, and it was kind of like unexpected, because in your first year, you ultimately want to get referred by designers because it's some nice work to achieve.
Yes.
I suppose it's been regular. There's a lot of pluses with that, and you build amazing gardens, which is a plus.
Yep. Which is why you got into it. You didn't want to get into it to build simple.
No, but I often have this conversation with a lot of people about, do you just want to do the high end stuff? And I'm like, no, not really. I kind of don't want to drive heaps far, although I drive everywhere still. Yep. I just think that in the future we may not go anywhere out of our zone. Yep. When we're more, we're only 4.5 years in, so for me we're still a baby stage.
And you can't be picky.
Yeah, and I'm conscious always that when you have a strong lead time, when you get back, it can be really stressful. Yeah. It hasn't happened very often, but I don't really want to be in that place.
What's a week lead time to you? Like 2 weeks to 4 weeks, or
what's a week lead time? I'd be getting pretty nervous if it's 3 and under
weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we seem to sit around 6 or 7, and then this year's been like 12.
Yeah. So 6 and 7 feels like an acceptable time for everyone.
Yeah.
12, most people are kind of understanding if they want you.
Yeah.
Anything more than that, and people are like, ooh.
And see, that's the problem. Now we're probably realistically out to March.
Yeah.
And so the only thing that's really appealing to us...
how long's March away? That's ages away. You can be the guy that Googles that shit. Put it up on the screen.
So the only thing we're really entertaining at the moment is probably builder work,
because you know the house isn't going to be built till March.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like if we're quoting stuff now, you have that really honest chat with people. Can you wait till after Christmas? Can you wait till February, March?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Probably rightfully so.
Yeah.
If you come a really strong recommendation, they'll probably wait,
Yeah.
depending on what stage they're at. But I don't want to appeal to just builders work right now and then spend all next year doing building work, because that's all I can quote now.
Yeah.
So to get back on, so that's where my headspace is around quoting just stuff that's pipeline. You end up doing a heap of work, which is just builder work, which I work for some builders, and the builders, or builder, I should say. I don't really work for builders, but one builder I do, it works really well.
Yep.
Some in the past haven't. It's just too built around a handover date and manic and unskilled execution outside, and it just really doesn't align with what we're about.
Yep.
But yeah, where were we going with that? But where we
sorry, I'm just getting the shake from. I'm getting a bunch of guys shaking
nod.
keys out the window. No, the parking inspectors obviously marked our cars, so this is when it's time to move the cars. So
it's go time.
It's go time. Yeah, podcasts. Not even podcasts stop for the parking inspector.
No one stops for the pod.
So you do 35% work for designers, roughly, and that's
probably 40.
That number's not really. I was just trying to get a good sense for what it was.
That's where I was. I still enjoy doing that really budget garden for someone on the outer edges.
Yep.
That is so pumped up and energized by it. There's coffees, there's beers at the end of the day.
It's funny, isn't it? They've saved up for the garden. It's not,
and they really show
they treat you with care and respect.
They really show you exactly what they think, which is like amazing. This is great. It's happened so quick. I can't believe it. This is going to change our life. Versus sometimes in the higher end, they're busy, flat out.
You don't even see them.
Don't even see them. But then on the flip side to that is not everyone's like that in the high end, by the way. But the flip side to that is that you've got a garden that you've built. Everyone stands back going, "How good is that?" Yeah, that's so. There's I like the blend still.
Yep.
I have a few people say to us, "Oh, you probably wouldn't do work like this." I'm like, "Well, yeah, we do."
I've seen you in Dernancourt. I think it was on Lower North East Road doing.
Well, we've got a real good patch in there.
Jobs there. Yeah,
we've got 3 or 4 in Dernancourt.
And Dernancourt's not. That's definitely almost east now.
Yeah,
like it's become quite a nice suburb.
That's why I feel really nervous about shutting off suburbs, because
so you just don't say no.
Yeah, well that's pretty much.
I mean, I'm surprised
if you
don't
say no,
do more work in Mount Barker if you're up there.
Well, people say that to me. I mean, if I move if I really market that, which I don't at all.
Yeah.
I probably could get a lot of work up there because I live there and there's so much happening up there.
Especially retaining wall work, like it's insane if that's what you're interested in. But
there's probably 3, 4, 5 developers up there. There's houses being built hand over fist. Yep. But obviously then all my guys are on the flat here.
So that's convenient for you.
But then all of a sudden I upset my tribe because they're driving 45 minutes to get to work.
Whereas you're better off being the driver and they can come. It's nice.
Yeah, I mean we pick up hills work and I love it. I mean I could love working in Mount Barker, no worries.
Home for lunch.
Yeah, we work there. I mean we moved there for a reason.
Yep.
Be a little bit more rural upbringing vibe for the kids, really.
But you didn't buy a small block, not like a 600 square block. You got a decent sized block.
We got 3,300, something like that.
How much lawn did you put down? Because I made you some fertiliser, but it's only for 170 square metres.
Well, you need to double that.
All right, so we have to get another tub. Yeah. 340. All right, we'll give you another tub. I think
we're up around 400 squares or 380 or something. So
I'll get you another tub. The other tub.
We're going to need a big fuel tub.
It won't have fuel's name on it, but it can. I can print them pretty quickly. Is there a quote or mantra that you kind of live by in business or in life that you keep coming back to?
Quote or mantra?
Like I guess we've got our values, but lately I've been thinking this too shall pass. That keeps coming up.
Not a quote as such. I think there's a very just communicate.
Yep.
Like if someone's going out landscaping tomorrow and starting their business, just communicate.
Yep.
You know, you're not going to be late. Give them a ring.
Yep.
If you can't get back to them by 5 o'clock today that you promised, ring them and say, "Hey, I need more time."
Yep.
And people just want to know.
And you find that gives you a smoother run to success.
Yeah, I mean, it just if you're really honest with your client, and they might not like the honesty, as in.
They don't want to.
They want to
don't
start
like what
Tuesday,
you just said, but you've told them.
They don't want, if you say you're going to start Tuesday the 25th, some clients structure their whole world around that start date, and then you give them that date a week earlier.
Yeah.
I don't like giving dates,
Yep.
but at the same time I realise people want them,
Yeah.
and somewhat I'll be the same if I had work done at my house.
Yeah, I get. And look, if you're going on holidays and that you're not going to be there, and you don't want to leave keys out, and there's dog care, daycare, and house sitters, there's so many variables.
If you know you're not going to make it, don't leave it till Monday night to ring them. Hey, we're not going to be there Tuesday,
that's bad.
unless it happens.
Yep.
Ring them Friday afternoon and say, hey, we've lost that day with rain yesterday.
Yep.
More than likely going to be Tuesday to sort of let you know. I haven't had one person get up me about.
No, because you've been honest.
Yeah, and that's all. I mean,
and
that's
not unreasonable.
Yeah, I mean that's just generally if you're honest. That's all. I mean that's probably not the mantra, but honesty.
No, but communication's key. Yeah,
and I think, I mean, why would people get angry at that?
They shouldn't, and if they do, they're being unreasonable. Yeah,
then it's them, not you.
Or there's more going on in their world than you understand.
Or they're not reasonable.
Do you quote your stuff using software, or do you just have an Excel spreadsheet? Have you kind of delved into buying anything?
Probably a year ago, looked into it, asked a few people what they run, but haven't taken it any further. So I'm still a spreadsheet kind of guy and manually
your
writing
numbers,
it all out.
you measure your stuff.
Yeah, and I'm a bit of a Nazi for quoting every nut and bolt.
Yeah.
So I want to know, this has cost me this.
So if you've got to build like a stainless steel cabled structure, you want to know what the U-hooks, whatever, I don't even know the right words. I'm just going to sound like an idiot.
I'm probably getting better at that by just knowing.
Yep. Because you've done enough. All the parts are in your kit, in your brain now.
But typically, I get most things quoted. People ask me for a square metre rate of paving. I don't do square metre rate. I know that there's a vibe out there for X and Y going rate, which I probably bring my quote back to going.
You'll double check it against a known square metre rate. Yep.
But I'm typically a day rate, and I don't square metre rate decks, paving.
No. So you'll go,
I go to a
this
job.
is X by Y. I'll take this long.
to
this
do
many
it.
piers will have to get drilled.
Yeah.
This will take this long to sand and screw.
And I'll typically spend a fair bit of time quoting in a pretty detailed quote, because I find if I do that, if a job goes ahead, I can just look to those notes and go, I'm ordering that.
Yep.
But if the number one thing is you don't want to take a hit on materials.
No.
So that's, I mean, I
and you also don't want to be too expensive.
Yeah.
Because you're either going to...
But then there's that battle of, okay, I spend 3 or 4 hours getting a quote back to someone.
Yep.
I could probably do it in an hour if I had a square metre rate.
Yeah.
So...
And are you willing to put your nuts on the line over your square metre rates? Or are you willing to lose jobs because you've become...
Yeah. And I know that sometimes I've lost jobs and I've caught up with that person that we lost the job to, or the client, and go, oh, it worked out to be about the price that you quoted us anyway. And I lost the job because it was $5,000 dearer. They've done the job, and then it was sort of $4,000 worth of variation, and then I've heard back that
which people aren't happy about.
Yeah, but that's how some people do it. I mean,
so your quotes, you'll pretty much cover it. It's done.
Yeah.
You've thought about everything.
Everything.
Yep.
And then
barring some really weird shit,
I don't like
hard digs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's variations with our work, but generally it's because people get excited, pumped up, and they want more.
Yep.
I don't like dealing with
I'm that guy.
variations where. I knew there should have been a retaining wall over there,
but it wasn't on the plan. Yeah.
I didn't see it when I quoted it. I didn't get my laser level out. I didn't
Yep.
do the things I probably should have, because sometimes, I mean, you're getting all the laser level out. I mean, I have done it before, but typically if I just quote a job, I'm really comfortable with my quote thereafter, and if we lose it, well, then I'm probably at that point now. Probably wasn't a few years ago where I'm really comfortable going, it wasn't for us.
Yep.
I don't like dealing with stuff that I probably should know along the way and go to the client going, oh, we're going to need a retaining wall over here because that level's not right. Well, yeah, I just rather know straight up. I mean, it does happen, but I'd rather not deal with any of that.
No, but you're not consciously doing it.
No,
you're consciously trying to do the right thing.
And if someone wants us to do extra, do that over there, I'd rather give them an idea of pricing rather than leaving it to the end, because you leave it to the end, you deal with financials at the end, there goes your repeat. Money's very... I'd rather say, look, if you want to extend that area, that's no worries. It's probably going to be roughly $2,000.
You kind of want money to be just an incidental byproduct of the whole thing, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, we have to charge you to do it.
Yeah.
You want it done.
Yeah.
Let's agree on the price and be happy.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of...
And that's me in a nutshell. Like, it's going to cost $40,000.
Yeah.
They say yes, they sign.
Yeah.
and at the end they pay 40 grand, they're stoked.
Yep.
If you go 40 grand and if you squeeze another 4 out of them, and it's only come at the end when you send your final bill, I can't see that going down very well.
No, not at all.
Even though they might know that they've asked for extra work.
They'll agree that it's fair, but it's just...
Yeah, it's just, I'd rather go, here's an updated contract, halfway through the project, this is the stuff you've added in.
Yep.
Gives them a chance to maybe vent if they were unhappy about it.
Yep.
I hardly have anyone.
No.
Because if you're fair...
Communication.
Yeah, communication. But if you put it to them mid-project, they've got a chance to ask any questions about it and perhaps maybe cut some corners down the other end to offset what they really wanted by saying, oh, let's go with a simpler paver.
Less mature plants,
because we're still going to end up with the same job price, but we really got what we only saw that was really important when we started. And then at the end of the job, there's pay. I mean, I've been pretty good. I haven't had any bad debts other than one, which was bugger all.
Yep. Do you have a style, do you think, that you tend to be drawn to or you design? Like straighter edges, curved edges, at the or is it trend related or...
I don't think I have a style. I mean, I don't design as such.
Yep.
Sometimes clients had a design or they can't afford one and they'll ask me to come up with some ideas and
yep.
I'll tell them straight away, look, I haven't studied design. It's not my strong point. Well, I'm good at building a garden,
but I've got experience.
But I've been doing this 17 years. I think I know what looks good.
Yep.
But style, no. I mean, I really like building creative stuff, which just tends to probably be a bit more curvy.
Yep.
A little bit left field stuff.
Like challenging builds?
Yeah, like I look at, something that's going to look really cool and you don't see everywhere. I mean, I don't mind the formal and the hedging and the straight and the...
Yep.
But I suppose what I get a real kick out of is someone comes up with a design, like a designer comes up with like a curved bench and a waterfall coming out of the bench, and I'm like, oh yeah, shit, how am I going to build that?
How am I going to build that? But you can work
But
it
I
out.
will,
Yeah.
you know, like I'll just nut it out and I'll do the research and I'll find out how the best way to do it, and so that's what I like the best. I don't really have a style. But
Is there anything that you would change now if you were starting today that you did that you didn't really like around maybe buying vehicles or hiring too soon, or
what would I change?
any regrets? No regrets?
No, I think I don't think so. Buying vehicles, nah. I mean, nah.
And I like that answer as much as if there was an answer, because it is what it is. Like it's happened. You can't. Would you be where you are now if you did anything differently? Something might have, like. Was it always the Great Outdoors? Were you trading under a different name at the start?
No, it was always the Great Outdoors. Straight. That was me and it was actually my old man's idea. We were sitting around a beer or a coffee, and we decided that we were going to start a business, and we were coming up with all these ideas and floating stuff around, and we all knew that it had to be catchy. Yeah. It had to stand out.
Yeah.
And Dad just come out with it. The Great Outdoors, and I'm like, done. It has to be it. And then, we got some help with logoing and stuff like that. And there was, I think, 8 to pick from. And
you mentioned before when we were talking that you've had some pretty good success from the branding on your vehicles.
Yeah. I mean, we got the old van,
yep.
the truck which got written off, and now we've got a new truck which we're about to kit back out, and then my ute. But yeah, the truck, for instance, which has got a 2.5, 3 metre toolbox on the side that's 2 metres high, probably cost us $2,500 to put on there, and it would have easily got us 4 or 5 jobs.
So if you had $5,000 of marketing dollars right now with all blank canvases, that would go on vehicles. Yeah,
I've got a plan for a little vehicle, which will just cruise around town.
Yep. But like you'd do that over website, business card. I mean, business cards are business cards, but that's been important to you.
Yeah, I think it's you're never really sure what's going to work when you start, but I think have a common theme through the vehicles, relatively powerful, to the point signage. It's got to be easy to read. Like you cruise down the road and you can see some people's branding, you can hardly read the
the colours are quite. There's like conflict in the colours. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I reckon every vehicle we'll ever have on the road will be a pretty bold green and have our logo on
I reckon we'll get a photo of your car before you go. We'll flash it up in the podcast because it looks good.
Yeah, just hover the camera there for a while and
we'll clean it, wash it. I'm so bad. One of our cars is unlogoed, and it's like we talked about before. When you go on holidays, you think about the stuff you're meant to do. I'm the same. I've been so busy running the business, I haven't stopped to actually process anything for a while.
Yeah.
And like, I probably should get my stickers done, and we've got to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. I have nothing more that I wanted to ask you. Is there anything that you want to plug at the moment that you guys are working on, or even advice to homeowners or other landscapers? Or
no, not a lot. I mean, advice, I think it's just communicate. Communicate, be honest, do the right thing, and everyone's going to succeed. And nothing else to really talk about. We've got some cool jobs coming up later this year and still this year.
So we'll link your social media into the bottom of the podcast so that people can take a look at your Facebook page. Is that where your Facebook's your Instagram more your thing? Or?
Yeah, we don't Instagram, even though I'd like to, but I was hoping my wife would kick that one on. But I think we will, but for now it's Facebook generally.
DK will do your Instagram for you for $50 a week.
Oh, there you go. Here we go. Give me your business card.
Do you have business cards? No, too bad. No, he's not doing it.
But no, we got a really cool job, one of Caroline Dawes' job down at Port Elliot.
Yep.
That's going to come into finishing in probably next 3 or 4 weeks. We're in Prospect at the moment in Paradise.
We should go do a deep dive with Phil at Port Elliot for a weekend.
Swim with the whales. There's a few down there. Yeah, it would be the third and fourth whale.
That's horrible. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for coming in, man.
Easy.
I really appreciate it.
No worries.
I'm going to get you another tub of Phil's Trojan.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Fertilise it up.